I was like, episode 16, 13 spiders, and I looked up and saw 16, 13, and I was like,
episode 13, 16, 16 spiders.
Bible verse. Yea, cometh the spiders.
Yea, do cometh the spiders.
Oh, God.
They eateth and they yoinketh away.
So.
Sorry.
I'm going to have to fucking giggle now.
So 13 Spiders is basically the AI of the game that is also in competition with the players to get enough points to be the new ruling faction of this section of the city. So we need ways for 13 Spiders to gain victory points. They'll have their own marker on the victory track and they'll gain victory points. The most basic way that this happens now is when you get 3 marks taken to the 13 Spiders headquarters. And in the original steampunk game, you would roll a dice for each wanted token you had, and then I got to bring it up because I'm not 100% sure. In the crew for hire rules, where is it?
Originally, it was you would roll for every crewmate you had, but then we had changed it to a deck builder, and I think it was for every wanted token. You're right.
So. Remove wanted tokens, roll for each wanted token removed on a 1 or a 2, lose 1 resolve. So we still had a health rating in the steampunk game.
Okay.
We did not add a health rating or health points to the cyberpunk game because everything is about VP right now. Even in combat, you're going to lose VP if you lose combat. So adding some kind of health rating to all of the captains or on the ship doesn't really make a lot of sense because that's just adding another system that's only being dealt with by the 13 spiders. It would basically be, every time you get 3 marks, you would roll the dice 3 times, and then on a 1 or a 2, you lose a health. And then people are going to have another thing they have to manage. So it doesn't seem like that would be as advantageous for what we're trying to do.
No, we pretty much kind of worked that out.
So maybe
mechanics.
So maybe it's 3 marks, you get taken to the HQ, and then you roll the dice. But for every time that you roll poorly, the 13 spider takes a VP from you.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there a detriment if you don't have VP?
I think it would be a very rare situation if you got 3 marks and no VP at all.
Well, let's say you had 2 VP.
Right.
And you rolled badly 3 times.
Right.
Then we could say in that situation, 13 spiders gains a VP. If you don't have one to give, they gain it.
Okay.
I think we do that for hacking. If there's no mark to give up to another player, then the other player just gains a mark. So in this situation, it would make sense. If there's nothing to give up
it's just generated.
Or gain, then just one gets generated.
For 13 spiders.
For 13 spiders.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 13 spiders steal VP when you get 3 marks and roll a 1 or a 2 for.
Okay.
So when you do that, then all 3, for each one you roll for, the marks get removed, and you are potentially getting VP taken from you.
Okay.
So that is the primary way that 13 spiders would gain. This is going to happen pretty rarely in the game. In most of the steampunk games, people were pretty good about either mitigating wanted tokens or just avoiding them entirely.
We also have dropped the number required to, it was 5 wanted tokens?
Yeah. It was 5 and now it's 3 because it was happening incredibly rarely when it was 5. Yeah. At 3, it happens about once a game, I think, because people were able to sort of mitigate that because the jobs were either, if the job was criminal, you're going to get a wanted token. If you PvP'd somebody, you would get a wanted token. So in this game, in the cyberpunk version, altercations generate marks, hacking moves marks. No other regular action causes marks unless, if you're using pure exchange at the refinery, instead of at 13 spiders, then you gain a mark.
Wait, I thought that if you failed at removing a mark, you got a mark. Or did I mishear that from earlier?
That was from hacking. If you fail to move a mark from yourself, then you gain a mark from the other person. Because it's either you push a mark off onto the other person, or they push one off onto you, since it's PvP on hacking.
Or
right. Okay.
If they don't have any.
But there could be other ways for us to generate marks on failures.
Like influence. Failure as far as territory.
Let's see. Okay, yeah, let's deal with territory first.
Disturbing the peace.
So, there's nothing about if you fail to take a territory. So, fail to take a territory, +1 mark. You exchange pure at the refinery instead of 13 spiders, gain a mark. If you fail to use the transmutation device in the perisphere correctly, that doesn't really make sense to earn a mark that way.
Yeah, that's
No.
outside of the realm.
If you fail at the underground fighting circuit, would that gain you a mark?
That's sanctioned. So,
right.
What does it cost to get into the fights?
That's a good question.
Is it crypto influence? What is it?
You have to use the combat skill to earn the VP from the fight circuit.
Right.
But the only other barrier was that it moves around and you have to go there to get it.
Okay.
Probably put another barrier there, just like we do with the
Like an entry fee or something.
the transmutation. So a crypto entry fee would be good. This would be an opportunity for betting.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
So
Wagers. Yep.
what if we did this? So I had said, if you're on an opposing faction's territory in an underground fight, the challenge is more difficult to win. If you're on your own territory and you lose, you gain a mark, because we presume that 13 Spiders is going to bet on you if you're on your own territory.
Play with that. What he was saying is, if you're on your home turf and that's where the fight ring is, then the 13 Spiders are going to be betting on you since you have the home advantage. If you lose on your home turf, you gain a mark because you lost the 13 Spiders money.
Okay. Yeah.
But if you're on an opponent's territory, then the challenge goes, the static challenge number goes up. Like if you have to roll say an 8 or better on a D6. So you got to throw at least 2 combat into the game, be able to roll a 6 + 2 to hit 8, right?
Right.
But then if you're on an opponent's territory, what if it was a challenge of 10? So you're slightly disincentivized to go after the underground fight circuit as it moves around, because if it moves into opponent territory, it's going to be harder.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that also incentivizes you in strategy, that when the opportunity comes up for the underground fight circuit to move, if you get to move it, you're probably going to move it closer to your territory. Or you're going to go into opponent territory and try to use your influence to turn over territories to your faction. So then you can get to the underground fight circuit and have an easier time with combat. Like there's a lot of strategic layers to this that could be advantageous. But we could say crypto entry fee to bar players from just chasing it all the time, and they have to use some extra resource to do it. But I like the idea of they're on their own territory and they lose, they gain a mark.
Okay.
If they're not on their own territory and they win, does that affect their influence in any way? Does it increase it?
I would say no, just because because we want to keep this on combat, this particular type of thing. So we don't want this to cascade into other VP generators.
Yeah, no, I'm just asking because I thought that'd be an interesting thing, but that may be
it would be totally interesting story wise, definitely.
Right.
But those are the kind of ideas where cascades would be really interesting for secret missions. Like, can you do this that causes this, and if you accomplish all those things, then you get bonus VP for doing so, because it would be, because you're trying to make this sort of snowball effect.
Right. And that's the part that was fascinating me whenever you were saying that about the end game aspect of it, because I was like, holy crap, that could really come out of left field, if done right, which adds to the drama of playing the game.
Now, here's another option, though. If we wanted to simplify, because trying to for a player to remember, but also see on a card, underground fight circuit card, it tells you everything about it. They still have to remember, okay, I'm on my own territory. Oh, I lost. I have to gain a mark. If I'm on somebody else's territory and I lose, I don't gain a mark. If we wanted to simplify, what if the story was that the teams that are in this game, when they run pure, they're running it for 13 spiders, supposedly, unless they sort of stab them in the back, and that's why we have a mark for going to the refinery. We have, if you fail to take a territory, you get a mark. Everything about the game seems to have consequences with 13 spiders, right?
Sure.
So what if your teams in the game, no matter where you go to fight, because you're not fighting another player, they're always going to bet on the teams that are playing the game. So to simplify, if you get into underground fight circuit, doesn't matter where you're fighting, if you lose the fight, you gain a mark, because they're always going to bet on you, no matter where you are. But the challenge is higher in places that are not your territory.
Right.
because other factions are going to have fighters that are going to be a little bit more ferocious against outsiders, right?
Yeah.
Or we can just call it home turf advantage for the other team or whatever,
Right.
I mean, I guess you kind of are competing with another player if you're on their territory, but it's not really directly with them.
Right. They don't gain anything if you win or lose.
Right. Because the other player is not involved.
Right.
In the fight that happens. The person that is going into the fight, paying the entry fee, you pay the entry fee, that's the wager. That they're wagering on you to win. You're paying your bookie, and if you lose, you gain a mark. We could even say that the crypto entry fee is not really an entry fee as much as a wager with 13 spiders that you're gonna win. It's like your win guarantee. We could just make that part of this. Yeah, I'm kind of putting this together. Underground fight circuit. You pay crypto to fight, and you're paying crypto to 13 spiders to fight, saying that I'm definitely gonna win, and they're gonna bet on you so that everybody gets money. And then if you lose, they lose money, so you gain a mark. And it doesn't matter where it happens. On your territory, on somebody else's territory, it doesn't matter. If you're going to enter the fight circuit, you're placing a bet on yourself with crypto, and if you lose, you gain a mark. If
I like
you
that.
If you win, we could give them VP and a
Purse.
the things that generate crypto, miners.
Yeah.
If they win, they gain a VP, and they get to draw a crypto miner into their deck, representing additional currency that they get from winning. Yeah? Okay.
I like that. So how does the miner work?
The crypto miner is just a representation of currency. So when you have a crypto miner in your hand, you can play it and use it as crypto value for your turn.
Okay.
And it's worth more than I think we had artifacts in the other steampunk game worth 2 trade value, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so they'll be worth 2 crypto value just to use for whatever.
Got it. Okay.
Most of the time crypto is going to be used to obtain more resources, whether that's generic crew members or generic equipment. And other things that are going to help boost your skills or give you temporary advantages on a turn so that you can try to guarantee your rolls.
Okay.
So
I was just trying to get an idea in my head as to what the numerical representation of crypto was for value points on certain things. Does that make sense? Because I know that as a player, hearing that I have 10 crypto versus 10,000 crypto, what is the real world assessment in comparison?
It'll be really small numbers.
Okay.
It'll be 10 or less. It'll be in the single digits. I don't think we need to mess with this one's worth 20,000 and you need 50,000 to get this. There's no reason to not make that just 1 and 5. I mean, we'll probably play with it. Because I think I got that stuck in my head because one time I had I was developing Thief's Horde and I had a play tester be like, well, but why is it 1,000 and 10,000? Why isn't it just 1 and 10?
Right.
That's basically the same. You're just putting more zeros on the card. And I'm like, because it sounds cooler.
Right.
Impressive.
Flavor text, man. God.
Yeah. So mechanically, it doesn't matter, but yeah, we'll probably need to look at what makes sense for the numbers, but we'll deal with the mechanics in single digits so that we know it works, and then adding zeros is just adding zeros, whatever.
Right.
To be fair, just to pause in Thief's Horde, it made more sense to differentiate between dollar amount on the items versus prestige amount. If you said both were 1 and 5, it got confusing.
That's fair too. Yeah. Yeah, because we had multiple resources that were in single digits.
Yeah.
So these are other ways that marks can happen, but we need other ways for 13 spiders to gain VP. 13 spiders either needs ways of having static things that earn bonus VP at the end, like we have for territory and Parasphere artifacts, or they need ways of generating VP on their own somehow. Because the only way we have of them gaining VP is stealing it from other players, which puts them up behind and puts them ahead, which is a faster multiplier than them just gaining it on their own, parallel to the other players. Making other players lose it while they gain it. Even if we say, okay, you got 3 marks. If you roll a 1 or a 2, you lose a VP to the 13 spiders. So on 3 marks, average one of them, you're going to lose a VP 1 time average every time you get 3 marks. If all 3 of us have gained 3 marks throughout the game, 13 spiders only has the potential in statistics that it would get an average of 3 VP, which is not much. So either the chance of getting VP stolen needs to go up, or we need other ways of 13 spiders gaining VP throughout the game.
I have something that's going to either blow your mind or make you really mad.
I mean, it could go either way. You don't know.
So